John McCabe was 15 years old, the kind of kid neighbors described as the boy next door. He lived in a small Cape-style house in Tewksbury, Massachusetts, with his parents Bill and Evelyn, and his two younger sisters, Debbie and Roberta. On the night of September 26, John attended a dance at the local Knights of Columbus. Friday night for a teenager in a small Massachusetts town. He never came home. The next morning, three young children cutting through a vacant lot on Maple Street in nearby Lowell found his body. John had been bound, his hands and feet tied behind him, a rope around his neck and tape over his mouth and eyes. The cause of death was later determined to be asphyxiation by strangulation. Investigators believe he'd been picked up hitchhiking on his way home from the dance. A massive investigation was launched. But despite the scale of the search, no arrests followed. Newspaper clippings, an old car, and interview skills. Investigators did have leads. A 16-year-old classmate named Mike Ferreira told police he barely knew John, though he'd been in the area that night with his friend Walter Shelley. Without physical evidence tying anyone to the scene, the case stalled. Weeks turned into years, years turned into decades. If you're finding this one as frustrating as the investigators clearly were, go ahead and drop a like now. It genuinely helps this reach more people who'd get into these stories. What kept this case alive wasn't new forensic technology, or at least not at first. It was Bill McCabe. For over 40 years, John's father kept a personal journal tracking every day. He refused to let his son become a closed file. Detectives who later cracked the case would credit his persistence directly. The case reopened seriously in 2007 when Jerry Leone was sworn in as Middlesex District Attorney. The Lowell Police Department approached him directly and asked him to take a fresh look. In 2011, Detective Linda Coughlin brought Brown in for questioning. He initially denied any knowledge, but after failing a polygraph test, Brown broke down and confessed. He had said he'd been present when Walter Shelley and Mike Ferreira ended John McCabe's young life.
What's the may I get closest with her? How long have you lived at the address you're at in Tewksbury?
Since 1962.
And you still live in the same home?
Yes, sir.
Now, sir, back in 1969, what type of work did you do?
I kind of did, sir.
What type of work did you do in 1969?
I was an engineer, microwave engineer.
And, sir, did you have children in 1969?
Yes, had three.
Boys or girls?
Two girls and one boy.
And what was the boy's name?
The boy's name is John J. McCabe.
Mr. Oldcoat, may I ask a question? Up here, Your Honor.
Yes.
I'll show you a photo, sir. Do you recognize that photo?
Yeah.
Who was in that photo?
That's our son.
John J. McCabe.
John J. McCabe, yeah.
Mr. Mark, you can give it to me.
No objection. That may be mine.
Now, Mr. McCabe, do you remember September 27th, 1969?
Yes, sir.
How old was John at that day?
September 27th of 69, he was 15 years, 6 months and 2 weeks old.
How tall was John McCabe?
John was about 5'4", 5'5", around there, sir.
I have nothing further of this witness.
Thank you.
Mr. McCabe?
Yes, sir.
Sir, my name is Eric Wilson.
Eric, what, sir?
Wilson.
Wilson?
We've seen each other in court over the last year, and I just wanted to introduce myself here.
Yes, sir. I don't think I was introduced to you.
Okay. I've got a couple of questions for you, sir. And I know this is probably difficult for you, and it's difficult for me to ask you these questions, but I want to ask you a couple of questions. The early morning hours, Mr. McCabe, of the 27th of September of 1969, I understand from police reports that your wife had woken you up and told you John had not been home.
That's right.
Okay.
Although, wait a minute. No, she woke me up.
Mr. McCabe, just another follow-up question regarding the belt. Over the years, you have communicated with newspapers and articles, have you not, sir?
Yes. All right. Sir, it appears your testimony is done, so you're all set. You can step down.
Wow, I need a breath after that. Need a little break. That's heartbreaking. And what comes next is even more horrific. In April of 2011, nearly 42 years after John's death, Brown, Shelley, and Ferreira were arrested. Brown pleaded to manslaughter in exchange for his testimony. Ferreira and Shelley were charged with first-degree murder. According to Brown's testimony, John had been picked up hitchhiking, taken to the vacant lot, and killed after an argument over a girl at the dance. But the trial didn't go smoothly. In Ferreira's trial, the jury deliberated only 5 hours before finding him not guilty. Several jurors reportedly questioned Brown's credibility as the sole witness. Bill McCabe dies just days after that verdict, having waited over 4 decades and still not seeing justice. He was buried next to his son. 2 months later, prosecutors presented the same evidence at Walter Shelley's trial. This time, the jury believed Brown. Shelley was found guilty of murder. John McCabe's case is really a story about persistence outlasting time. A father who refused to let his son's murder fade into an old file drawer, and a detective willing to look at faded evidence with fresh eyes. Bill McCabe didn't live to see the final verdict, but his wife Evelyn had promised him someone would be held accountable, and eventually someone was. If you want more cases like this solved cold case from New England and all around the country, hit subscribe. And let me know in the comments which case I should cover next. I've got a few in mind, and I'll see you in the next one. I believe people die twice. Once when their physical body stops working, and when their name is said for the last time. Let's keep John McCabe's name alive and keep his memory alive.
Even in death, one must maintain appearances.